Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to build a custom set of arrows and kind of just give you a step-by-step of my process. I'll just give you some tips and tricks and just little details that I've learned throughout the years to basically make your arrows be completely professional, look great, and most importantly perform perfect. One big ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, do all the engagement things to help me out. I really appreciate you guys that take the time to do that type of stuff. Send this to your buddy that might be building arrows, or tell him you're going to build some arrows for him or something like that. It really makes a difference. And most importantly, comment what type of content you want to see. So if you want to see more in-depth arrow builds, bow tuning, sight leveling, hunting videos, whatever, let me know what kind of content you want to see, because it kind of gives me a little bit of just a base to go off of and create something that people are actually going to want and value. With that being said, we're going to get into this build. All right, so step by step, this customer got my spring arrow special, which was these Black Eagle talons here. So these are 3000 straightness, and also these are 300 spine. So Black Eagle talon is basically a mid to a little bit higher than mid range arrow. So it's honestly a very solid arrow. Standard diameter, great hunting arrow, 3D arrow, kind of do it all arrow that's not going to break the banks. We'll get these bad boys out and I'll show you what to do with them next. Okay, so starting with the bare shaft. Hopefully you ordered shafts. If not, strip your fletchings off and make them clean. But if you're starting with bare shafts, first thing you're going to want to do is clean them up. So in order to do that, it's nothing crazy, nothing hard. Just get any type of rubbing alcohol and paper towel, and you're just going to basically clean off any carbon or dirt that's going to go where your wrap is going to be. So just give them a good rub. That should be good. So yeah, you just want to get basically any debris, any grease, carbon, anything like that off the shaft to ensure that your wrap sticks. It sticks very, very well. So this customer went with my Coors Banquet wrap here. So I make a ton of cool wraps, and this one's one of my favorites and one of my best sellers here. So this is a Coors Banquet Emerson Archery wrap. Looks pretty sweet. What you're gonna do is next, you're gonna apply these. And the best way, most professional way, I guess I should say, is to have a wrap pad like this. If you don't have a wrap pad and need one, you can order one from me, and they're not super expensive. And they're pretty nice to have. It just lines everything up really smooth, so you ensure that your wrap's going on with perfection. So next step is pretty simple. What I like to do is I like to take the knock out, and that way I just really see this hard edge here. It gives me a lot better line here for putting this wrap on. So you want to take your wrap. If you don't have a wrap pad, you could just use basically this little sheet that the wraps come on, just to ensure that you don't get any dust or dirt or anything. Take your wrap and then make sure your knock end goes towards the knock. For me, the Emerson Archery logo is going on the knock end here. So either way, if you have a wrap pad or don't, you're gonna get this wrap very straight. Then you're gonna take your arrow, and if you have a wrap pad here, you're just gonna line it up with the arrow mark. Make sure everything is square. Make sure your arrow is square down the line here. And with your wrap, you're just gonna take a little pressure and roll it right on. Give it a couple rolls here, and boom, he's on there and ready to roll. One thing to note about wrapping arrows is that this is just a pretty basic arrow, but there are some higher end arrows out there, such as maybe like the Black Eagle Focus arrow, or Victory Rip TKOs, or some Easton arrows that have spine alignments on them. Basically what you want, if you're trying to make your stuff look really good, is make sure that either the crease of your wrap or the logo, however you kind of want to tweak it, is going to be on top or just left of your spine if you're looking from the knock down. That way when your arrow is actually sitting on your bow, the wrap is going to look presentable and nice. It's obviously not necessary, but it just is a really nice little touch to make sure that everything looks really clean and done well. Okay, arrows are wrapped and ready to be fletched. Okay, so fletching is kind of what really sets you apart from a really clean looking set of arrows to a homemade crappy set. For this video, I'm going to use a boning tower jig. A lot of at-home guys use something similar to this, like either one of these or maybe Arizona Easy Fletch, something like that. So we're going to go with one of these, and I'm going to show you exactly how I go about this and make sure that they're very clean without making mistakes, and exactly kind of what glue I use and those types of things. So let's get into it. For my glue, I use Mold Z. So this is by Triggered Archery. If you've never heard of them, check them out. Honestly, they make the best glue in the market, in my opinion. So I use their whole kit. So primer pen, glue, and their light. This is actually, it's basically light activated glue. It's pretty awesome. Along with that, I use little plastic tips. Just comes out a lot thinner. Makes it a lot easier and cleaner. First step, obviously grab yourself an arrow and put it on your jig here. And be mindful of where your wrap is and what you want your cocked vane to be, like where you want that. So for the rest of this build, this customer went with the Boning Blazer Don't Tread on Me vanes here. So he's doing all three for, it's just straight 3 fletch, nothing crazy blazer vane. So pretty much what you're gonna see on every like pre-fletch set in a store. So you're gonna throw these on here. Okay, once you get them in position and all even, the biggest tip is that you don't want one higher than the other. I have like pre-marked set like little lines on mine, so I know where to be, but just be mindful of where they're at. You can kind of push them up and just test, make sure that you don't have one way higher or lower or that type of thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world if it's a little off as far as flight goes. Just to make sure that you're being precise, make sure you're even all the way around. So boning vanes, say they don't need a primer pen. I do it anyways just to make sure, you know, at least when I'm doing customer stuff. With your primer pen, just takes one little swipe. Make sure nothing moved here on my marks. Okay. Okay, take your Mold Z glue with your little plastic tip here. And you're just going to apply a very thin line of glue right down the center of every vane. With this glue, it does not take much at all. And then take the top of your jig, guide, get that on there, and then close it. Wait about 5 seconds. Get yourself a little paper towel to clean up any excess glue. All right, take this bad boy off. Take it out your jig. Wipe off any excess glue here. And I hit it with my light. And we got a finished arrow, almost, a fletched arrow. All right, we're gonna finish these up and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, we got them fletched up, looking clean, no glue showing, and pretty sweet build here. So Coors Banquet always looks good. So next step, at least for me, with this build is going to be putting the nocks back in to cut them to length and install inserts. So some guys do a carbon to carbon cut. Or, you know, some guys do just with the knock-in. That's a lot more common. It's really personal preference. This one's getting cut with the nocks in it. And the one thing to remember is to have your nock aligned with your cocked vane. That way, every single time you put your arrow on your string, it is facing the same way, looks the same way, you're gonna have the same release, all those types of things. So it's more important with arrows that have like a spine alignment on it, or if you know, because you can find the spine with any arrow, but this is just a basic build, nothing too crazy. If you guys have any questions on more advanced stuff, please put it in the comments, because I'm more than happy to kind of make videos and go over that type of stuff. You know, this is just a basic build. Don't want to get too crazy with it. So even a basic build, arrows are going to fly just fine, just perfect, and be good to any distance, honestly. Okay, nocks are in, arrows are wrapped and fletched, looking good, aligned, ready to be cut, and then the inserts installed. So I'm assuming that if you made it to this point, you have an arrow saw. And if you don't, please don't cut your arrows, because I've heard of people using hacksaws or this or that, table saws, you name it. While it might kind of get the job done, it's not going to cut them very true. That's how you definitely will get inconsistent arrow flight. So if you have an arrow saw, I'm sure you hopefully know how to use it. If you don't, read the manual, watch the company's instructions. I mean, I'm gonna go over it with my saw. I just have the Carbon Express saw. So let's jump into cutting and how you go about installing inserts that are not gonna pull out on you when you pull your arrow out of a target. Okay, so we got our arrow here. These arrows are getting cut to 28 inches. Just goes right on 28, tighten it up. The mistakes people will make here is either not keeping your nock over here, not keeping this in your post, so letting it slide out a little bit or something. You just want to keep it planted in there and rotate your arrow through. So you just want to set it on the shelf here where the blade's at, where your blade is right here. And the main thing is you don't want to put pressure on the middle of your arrow. You don't want to be flexing it and create a funky cut. So you just want to have it here, no pressure, and just rotate your arrow against the blade and keep some back pressure, and then just let the saw do its work. All right, our arrows are cut, all the same height. Couple steps before you put your inserts in. You want to square them off with some type of arrow squaring tool, whether you have a saw that has an attachment or you just have a manual little block. I have a drill one, which is really speedy and nice. So you just want to have some type of arrow squaring tool to just make sure that your end's completely flat. Like, it might look flat to the eye, but to a spin test, you want it to be perfect. So just sand them down, essentially. Last step before you install inserts is you want to take a wire brush. And for some reason, there's a little bit of debate on whether you should do this or not, but I'm a full believer in it. Guys that complain about their inserts being ripping out, like staying in the target, that type of thing, every single time I ask if they clean their arrow out with a wire brush beforehand, it's always no. So take a wire brush and just run it in and out a couple times to clean any of that dust in there that's gonna basically not allow your insert to glue right cleanly to the carbon. That's it. All right, so one more step before we glue these inserts in. So for this specific build, this guy wanted 50 grain brass inserts on the back of his, or brass weights on the back of his insert. So I'm going to Loctite and screw these bad boys on real quick, and then we'll glue in the inserts and we have a finished product. Okay, so last step, after you get your arrow cleaned out with your wire brush, you're gonna take your insert, and what I do is just start it a little bit, take your glue, and just dab some glue on the back here. Doesn't have to be an insane amount. I just kind of put a ring around the back, and then very quickly just shove it in there. Wipe it off on some paper towel, and boom, you got a finished arrow. So I'm gonna finish these up here in a second, but I appreciate you guys watching. And there's definitely some more, I don't want to say complicated, but more advanced arrow builds out there that require some inserts, outserts, some screws, some that type of stuff. So if you want to see some of that, let me know. Comment what arrow you're shooting or what other content you'd like to see. But I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you have any questions, anything I can clarify or go into a deeper dive, anything like that. But I appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this to a buddy and help me grow my YouTube. And I appreciate it. Thank you.